Hello Redditors, welcome back to Tales Against Humanity. Now, let's get started. In today's episode,
the Control W report is not working. About 17 years ago, I was a developer writing internal web reporting applications for the company I worked for. I wrote a report that gave information on our pricing as well as our competitors and compared them. The user of the report was grateful, and as people saw the data, a number of executives wanted to see the data in Excel format. The project was over, and I really couldn't devote any time to adding the feature to the application. So I set up an Excel macro on her computer that would run the report, do some formatting of the data, and then save it to a network share that the executives had access to. The macro was initiated by doing a CTLW with Excel open. Fast forward 18 months, and that lady is gone, and her replacement got a new computer and opened a ticket with the help desk saying the Control W report is not working. The ticket got assigned and reassigned to several developers, and then one of them recognized the data and knew I was the one who had dealt with it. He assigned the ticket to me, and I was confused at first. It finally dawned on me, and I went up and remade the macro. The funny thing is that the web interface to the report is never run, only the Control W Excel interface to it. Story 2. Secretary doesn't understand the word urgent and warnings on stickers. This happened while I was attending practical education. I was in third year of a 3-year middle school, Southern EU. I was around 17 to 18 years old. Practical education was consisting of 18 weeks in a company doing IT work full-time. The only place I could get work was a primary school. One time the secretary, I think, came to me with an urgent request. She needed some pictures of an event burned to CD. Yesterday, if possible. Alright, I burned them to a CD and gave it to her. Not even an hour later, I get a call from her. Something is stuck in the paper shredder. If your guess was paper, you are very wrong. It was the same CD she needed urgently. The shredder had a sticker with warning, not to even put credit cards in it. Guess who had to completely disassemble the shredder and get the half-shredded CD out? How can you be a secretary when you don't know the meaning of the word urgent and or understand stickers with visual warnings? Story 3. Of cables and battery backups. Our cast of characters are new battery backup, old battery backup card, a communication card that basically tells the server, hey, the power is off, you might want to shut down. On a stormy day we lost power. In looking into it, our battery backup didn't last as long as it should have, and since it was fairly old we decided to order a new one. The only instructions I was given when installing it was move a card from the old to the new, which had written may or may not work. Also, I had to plug the server into the old and then plug the old into the new. I questioned if that was even possible or not, but I wasn't told not to do it. Strangely, the battery backups worked fine, but the card didn't, so we had to wait a month for the new one to come in. Luckily, our weather held out and the new card arrived yesterday, so I shut everything down. Installed the card but ran into a snag with the communication cable that runs from the server to the card. It was connected, but I basically had connected the new cable into the old cable. Everything was working though, so I emailed everyone and left. I got a response back the next morning with details on how to fix the cable issue, and they okayed doing it without shutting the server down. I basically just had to remove the new cable and just use the old cable. However, when I made the connection with the old cable, the new power supply stopped supplying power. Cue chaos as everything started going down, including the internet. We started plugging things straight into the wall, bypassing the battery backups until we figured out what was going on. As it turns out, that old cable was turned the wrong way around. Once we did that, everything worked. Here is the thing, I didn't change the orientation of the cable at all. I basically just unplugged it from the old and plugged it into the new. I have no idea how this wasn't caught before when it was plugged into the old. It was also determined plugging the old into new also was not allowed, so we fixed that too.